I guess into the Faceless Void, the Nature's Prophet still feels pretty good, but I don't know. I feel like you've given up a big opportunity as well.
Yeah, because they've got a lot of heroes on Army Geniuses that can get on top of Ken. Like in a game like this is a very, very difficult core Nature's Prophet game to be playing in particular position 1 Nature's Prophet, where you are the right-clicking hero. Like you're not building those aura item, Wraith Pack to be able to help sustain and group up as a team. So he's the one dealing a lot of the physical damage in these fights. In Army Geniuses, you can send the Broodmother summons at him, Ember can Remnant on top. You even got the pressure of like Naaman just dropping and Chrono on your head. So I'm a bit concerned. Like obviously this lane, it should go pretty well. The Earthshaker with the Viper against the Weaver, I feel like that's going to be a fine lane, but I just felt like they needed to body the Broodmother, and without playing the Monkeys a 1, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, no, it's certainly going to be pretty interesting. I mean, maybe it's going to be playing around just having a little bit more levels by playing in the lane a bit more. You got more points in the Sprout, and you're going to try and address the Broodmother a little bit, like try and lock him down with your okay amount of stuns that you've got coming through. And then if you can't get the Insatiable Hunger off because you're in a Sprout, then your survivability isn't as good. Just trying to theorize a little bit here, but and I actually haven't cast a Broodmother game since they buffed up the minimum movement speed bonus as well. So I want to see how much that actually influences things.
Yeah, same actually. I didn't even remember the changes from Broodmother because we haven't had the opportunity to cast her at all. Does look like there's a couple. We'll see. We'll see how Wommy's looking to set up. Are they? What are they doing? Wommy's not doing up to his shenanigans running mid, is he? He's just kind of maybe getting in the minds of Xerxia.
I mean, you see the bottle being queued up by the Ember Spirit, so you'd assume that he's still going to be mid. The thing is, you just can't really go the Flame Guard into this Invoker now, right? He's just going to dispel it off every single time with the Tornado, so it's going to be much more of the right-click build. Not that you hate that, right? You still need to deal with, especially as a position 1 Nature's Prophet, the Treants, who are going to be rampaging a little bit more often, as well as it's just going to be some extra damage inside of that Chronosphere too, just with the slight spam from the outside.
The battle begins.
See how this one's able to shape up. Will be a 2 for 2 in regards to the bounties. Nothing crazy going on, it looks like, with the lane shenanigans as well. Everything comfortable from either side. Either intrigued to see how this Faceless Void's able to, at least how Army Geniuses can execute it, because I know you said that they've picked it up multiple times and had success on it. I didn't have the opportunity to get to see these games, so, and again, we were kind of speaking about it in the pre-game, like Naaman is that person to always look out for. He's really the one that can bring teams to the forefront and take the game, so I'm excited to see what he can do with the Void.
I have faith in Naaman. You know, no matter what he does, he always seems like he's able to get some success coming through. Getting a little bit of harass here is Varese, making sure to keep that camp blocked up. So nice scout out of the Sentry Ward to make Lucifer's job a little bit more challenging as he tries to go for the body block. And he'll be successful on this bottom side of the map. But yeah, it's all about just trying to get some of that early pressure into Rapido, specifically at level 2. They just want to make sure that the lane's in a good spot. As soon as you got that Rocket Barrage and probably the Swarm, just going to look to follow in and quickly burst down Rapido before he gets too out of control.
Is this an easy lane, though, for DB? Because I feel like he might struggle. If they've got Sentry control, as soon as he pops Sakuchi, and if Lucifer's in a good position with the Fissure, you land the stun, then Rapido can start to stack up the poison attack, and DB could be in trouble then.
Do you think they're going to have full Sentry control, though? I think it's mainly just going to be around this this camp, right? They want to make sure that they can influence it to pull it back towards them as much as possible. Actually missing out on the homing missile there from Varese. Ended up getting killed by Rapido as well as Lucifer. But yeah, I don't think they can actually afford to just put them in the lane. It's going to set the Earthshaker back too far. Like, he's already had to buy 3 Sentry Wards just to try and keep this camp available to them. And, well, it's still obviously not going to be for the next little bit of time.
Take a look at how top lane's shaping up. Some shenanigans there. Nama just looking to drag the wave under the tower. Wami at the moment doesn't feel comfortable with playing the lane. And this is kind of to be expected though with the Broodmother. Like this is a hero that definitely has fallen off with the prowess in the laning stage. But as soon as you get that level 6, then you're online. And it's very difficult for anyone else to be able to deal with. So it'll be interesting to see how they can get him to that stage. A little bit of damage onto T here for the moment.
Yeah, no real amazing slows just that yet though, right? You've got the Silken Bowler, but no Orb of Venom, no slow coming from the time dilation, but all this pressure, even though the farming under the tower on Ken does mean you're able to get a pull off here from the Faceless Void, so Narman's going to be very happy with that, push things back towards you. Probably around that level 3 timing is when they can look to get a lot more aggressive on Army Geniuses, perhaps go for a kill onto this Monkey King.
Earth's bounty.
With this mid lane, Azura off to a pretty good start, 16-6 compared to the 10 last hits on JG. It is a matchup that people like picking the Invoker into. You've got a way to be able to purge off the Flame Guard. Well, we see Azura's just going down a different route. He's like, all right, I'll just max out Smite, go for the early Blightstone, see how fast that Corrosion's able to come out. But Azura should definitely be okay in this matchup. I do think, though, as the game goes on, until he gets BKB, it can be difficult to deal with the Invoker.
Using the Tornado there a little bit aggressively, still 25 seconds away, so if you wanted to go for a Flame Guard play like he does, you might be able to get some success through from that. Of course, the Flame Guard now doesn't completely stop the damage coming through, so Cold Snap is still going to be quite effective against it. Azura actually being bullied away from the lane by both of these supports. Is he going to go for the slight refill play? No. Won't be able to accomplish it. So important just to make sure that your mana reserves are still somewhat decent for the laning stage. Third point into the Sleight of Fist now, and really trying to take advantage of out-sustaining an Invoker, a Quaswex Invoker in lane, which is pretty damn challenging.
He will have that level 6 at least coming up shortly for Azura, but it's probably going to be 2 waves until he gets it, so might have some issues. JJ, this is going to give him an opportunity at least to be able to continue harassing, being that nuisance. Bottom lane, Lucifer's in a bit of trouble for the moment. He's able to get back to the T2 tower. Rapido's the one that's in trouble. Look at the damage racking up, but Lucifer turns it around, stands his ground, and slams away the life of the Weaver.
Manned up onto him. This is what I was talking about. I really wanted him to put a point into the Swarm because you're very immobile heroes with the Earthshaker and the Viper early on, and if you're forced to be right-clicking a creep, that's just a couple of extra hits that you're getting through with the Weaver. You don't really need the Geminate attack if you're looking to go for that first blood, which I feel if you go in this position 5 Gyro, you got to be getting kills out of the lane. It's not really that traditional 5 by any means.
I 100% agree. Like, he's the person in the predictions I put for him to have the most magic or pure damage at 10 minutes, because I thought the same thing. Like, this is a hero that just needs to be getting incredibly aggressive with the early points in the Rocket Barrage and the homing missile.
Feels a little bit like the Crystal Maiden, doesn't it? Where, like, if you just don't have that early game impact, you're just going to fall off massively. And I don't know exactly how much money he's spent on Mango so far, but he's got 3 in the inventory and not much else. So Barry's really kind of between a rock and a hard place at the moment, with wanting to go for kills but not having the resources and the allied skill build to do so.
The River, JG, gonna be in a little bit of trouble here. Narman was able to snag the haste out of the face of the Invoker, but it looks like they'll be okay. Meanwhile, top lane as well. A lot of damage has been put on the tower. Xerxia have done a very good job to keep the catapult still alive, and they will have a resummon shortly at the Treants. They're gonna get this T1 tower, I think.
Narman's going to come and try and stop it as much as possible. Gets the time dilation off there, but
wow,
able to do too much about stopping this, and yeah. No real way to be able to stop this tower from falling. Still very single target on the Broodmother. Even with the spawned Spiderlings, right? It doesn't feel all that great. Maybe you can burst down a creep, but it's a lot much more of an open map, and even potentially the ability to go into the triangle when it starts to get stacked up a little bit more for either the Ember or the Weaver once you get into the Maelstroms there.
I'm very impressed though with Xerxia and how they've been able to body the Broodmother in the lane. And like Ken top of the net worth 3,400 compared to the Brood 2,500. So we kind of mentioned it when the lane was going on, the fact that Brood needs level 6, but really big props to Xerxia recognizing this and getting very, very aggressive. And now Ken, he's already got the Javelin. Working on the Maelstrom as his next item. Once he completes this, his farm will just skyrocket.
And the thing is, like, we did have a little bit of an issue. Sorry, mid lane. JG's getting dived a little bit, but hasn't used any spells yet, so that time dilation is going to be pretty damn useless. In his previous time picking the Faceless Void, I don't think he leveled up the time lock until, like, level 8 or something like that. He was just putting everything into the time walk and the time dilation up until that stage. But with these heroes that you're coming up against, they're really not these frequent spell users, you know? They're not spirits, they're not Puck, they're not... you know, some of these other, like CK in the lane even, can look to use a lot of his spells to try and get some kills, but Nature's Prophet, not really. All you're really using is the Nature's Call and right-clicking.
The Earthshaker's going to be in a little bit of trouble, but look at Ken teeping in to try and provide the +1. They've used a lot of their spells for the moment. The Varish is going to have another round of the Rocket Barrage. They'll kill off the Earthshaker. And also Azura, he's able to secure at least the Arcane Rune. So really nice movements coming out from Army Geniuses. Not only do they get their first kill of the game, but they also refill the bottle for the Ember Spirit.
Don't want to spend too much time away from this top side as well. You've got Wami, obviously lost his tier 1 tower, but he's going to be pushing in this one on the top side. You can see just with the skill build from the Monkey King, you might think Tree Dance is a really good way to be able to... Oh, they're trying to hunt him down and cut down the trees, but...
Rapido's in some trouble. Azura, another rotation. Down to the Viper this time. Instead of the supports moving mid, Azura with the Arcane Rune was able to help out. That's a big kill because Rapido was just edging out a slight victory into DB's lane, and now this will give DB a couple of free moments down bot.
It's the power of those Arcane Rune, right? He's just able to rotate so much more easily, make a big impact in multiple lanes, and then suddenly what was looking quite bad for Army Geniuses, at least 2 of the lanes, is now evened out completely.
So what can
what I was saying before, I'm expecting T here to go pretty much the build that he is right now, right? You needed, with those double melee, you want to have at least a point in the Jingu Mastery to be able to get that bonus damage through. And Boundless Strike, you need physical damage to be able to deal with this Broodmother and all the Spiderlings. They've got pretty good magic resistance.
Bottom lane, Ken is going to look to try and TP down. TP's going to be cautious with the burst damage coming through from the Wrath of Nature. They'll get the fissure blocked off perfectly as Ken just slips into the tree line. DB's going to be killed off, and now Xerxia should be able to use this onto the tower. Mid lane though, JG. What a rotation out of Wami. From top to mid he goes, wrapping on the Invoker with the help of Army Geniuses as well. They could surround JG and now look to put some pressure on and, well, in fact, get the kill onto the tier 1 tower.
This is what I really like about the way Wami was playing. You know, a lot of Broodmothers that are a bit less experienced would have just stayed in the lane and looked to try and dominate that way. But look at what you're going up against. These are heroes like the Monkey King, like the Viper, like the Invoker even, that want to be staying in the lane to be able to have a big amount of impact.
Azura's got the haste. They're going to look to chase them down. Finds the double chains. Look at Lucifer's position though. Pump faking the fissure. The threat of the dive. Something that Army Geniuses have to be cautious of.
Oh, they got the stun onto
control.
the...
Azura's going to go for it. Not going to have the damage though. Nice fissure timing. We'll be able to TP out of the Nature's Prophet.
He could have gone for the Searing Chains, but just wanted to guarantee it, and well, unfortunately Lucifer was in a really solid position there. He's got the Tome in his backpack, so he doesn't actually have enough for the Echo Slam. Will that cost him?
Oh, he went in! Oh, no. Azura, he doesn't have a TP. He's stuck here. Can they see him?
No.
They'll see him now.
Oh,
The
now
Sprat's out. There's no one here. No one at all to help the Ember Spirit in between the tier 1 and the tier 2 tower. Xerxia, they pivot their attention down, bringing Invoker just to make sure they're able to secure the kill.
You know, even Grandmasters can make mistakes every now and then, and you know, there's a big reason behind it. So what I was saying before with the Broodmother, now that we've got a little bit more time to relax and chill, is when you're going up against these heroes that want to stay in the lane, you probably don't want to be in the lane, right? So he takes the tier 1 tower, he goes into the jungle, allows it to connect onto mid, you get the kill. Like, I just like the way that he's able to adapt his gameplay to the situation. That's the sign of a good player.
What can we expect out of Xerxia how are they going to be able to address this Broodmother? Because this is someone who can just look to completely take control of the top jungle. So is there heroes or items in particular they need to pick up to kind of deal with the Brood? I'll hold that thought real quick, because mid lane we do have a smoke, and Narman threading it with the Chronosphere. Nice fissure. Controls the Faceless Void, so there's no threat of the turnaround, but Azura's going to look to jump in. The Ember Spirit, they're not going to have the stun lock to be able to deal with Azura. He can Remnant out, targeting down Ken, but they're lacking the stun to deal with the Nature's Prophet, so instead, they'll chase down the Earthshaker in the river.
A lot committed just for a couple of supports. You know, I know it's a Gyro and a Faceless Void, and you can't let them get out of control because inherently their cores, they're going to scale quite well as we get to the later stages. Maybe not so much the Gyro. Have a look at the net worth. Not looking that great at all. But yeah, you end up getting a support and a core in response to that. As for your previous question of how are they going to be able to deal with this Broodmother, I think what Ken's got queued up is the answer. He's gone the Gleipnir. So you just need something that's going to provide a little bit of that extra control, not only just for the damage that it does on use, as well as the Maelstrom passive, but even just things like holding things in place to be able to get massive use out of the Boundless Strike. You've got the Orb of Corrosion, and it looks like he's going into a Deso next on T here with the Blightstone pickup.
I think now with kind of the point, I'll hold that mid lane. Chrono out onto JG. Lucifer is nearby to help offset this, but they make sure they're not grouping up for a multi-man fissure. Army Geniuses, they might lose Narman, although the Time Walk's back up, and meanwhile the Spiderlings are just bringing down Rapido. It slides on cooldown for the moment, but it will not matter as Wommy with the spawn Spiderling secures the kill. And now they've got the root as well to the Nature's Prophet. Look how they're playing this team fight. Just range and distance, that's the main thing now for Army Geniuses, and now they can jump in. They know that multiple members are down on Xerxia, and as soon as they see their opening, a Remnant in forward from Azura to get on top of the Earthshaker.
We just saw T1 play with Thompson and Anna and their unorthodox heroes, but Army Geniuses, they're trying to do them one better. Just really understanding the limits of their heroes, obviously with the maxed out Time Walk on the Faceless Void. You could play this baiting style, and with every one of these Team 5 victories just gets these, again, inherent cores closer to one of these items that are actually going to be a lot more significant as the game gets later on. You know, only the 1 point in the time dilation now, but by the time he's got the mana, the money for the Aghanim Shard, and he'll probably be level 9, 3 points time dilation. It's a significant amount of damage once you're trying to force out these team fights.
And Army Geniuses, they can continue to play aggressive. They've got a great Observe Ward on the cliff line, and look at the damage they're doing to Rapido. The missile, it's enough. Oh no, another death for the offlane Viper. This cliff ward down to the triangle is just giving them so much information. I love how Army Geniuses are playing this. They have recognized that we can't kind of run into the middle of the fights, into the Viper. We can't face check this hero, nor the Nature's Prophet as well. Like, he doesn't have the greatest attack range or mobility. So in team fights, we just need to play our distance. You know, spam Slight, spam the spawn Spiderlings, let even the spiders just run in as well, because Dire, they don't really have the capability to kill them. So it's a great read from AG so far. And now Azura.
Nice use of the Remnant.
Cuts down the Monkey King's tree. Ken's gonna look to TP out. He will be able to make it, but Tiki's in trouble. He'll lose out the Monkey King, but across the map, we do see those Xerxia get the kill onto Narman, so both supports going down. Meanwhile, once again, though, Wommy, he finds a solo kill, looks like, under the tower. Onto Rapido's Viper. That's another death in a row. He just TP'd back out to the lane.
He did, and I have to wonder if this is the right choice going into the Orchid. Like, it makes sense considering what you're up against. You know, the Ember Spirit, the Faceless Void, the Weaver, 3 heroes that you want to be able to lock down just so that you've got the burst to be able to take him out. But I feel like they're just going to be prioritizing him as the #1 priority because every single time, like, Orchid gives you 0 stats to enable your survivability versus something like that BKB that he's got queued up afterwards, or even just something simple like a Dragonlance, which is pretty damn core for a Viper. At least with this Observer Ward, they're going to be seeing where exactly Wommy's farming, and with that, Rapido playing a much more towards the right-hand side of this lane, but it's like, what is he actually farming? He's nearly fallen behind his position 5 Monkey King in net worth.
And now, with all the map control that Army Geniuses have in this net worth lead, They can look to move their attention over to Roche. And looks should be pretty easy for them to find. The Wraith Pact already completed onto Wummy. The first Roche of the game is going to be claimed at 18 minutes in. And what can we expect out of Army Geniuses? Is there the potential for them to take multiple tier 2 towers, or is this more of a farming Aegis?
I don't really think it's a farming Aegis. I think they're probably just going to wait maybe 2 minutes or so, get into the BKB on Azura, get some of these tier 2 neutral items, get the pipe for Wummy. Pretty close to the Vladimir's offering as well for Faceless Void. So it really is just this ball up and go style that they're going to have active pretty soon.
JG's been hanging around bottom for quite some time trying to find these pickoffs, but Army Geniuses are not giving him that opportunity. He does have Lucify nearby as well, working on the Blink Dagger. We saw yesterday 3 games play hard. Was on the Earthshaker. All 3 games he went that Ag Shard first item as well. So a little bit of a difference here with Lucify's item build. We'll see maybe if that's going to prove to be an issue. Meanwhile, JG does get the connection. So the Tornado into the meatball combo, but oh no, man, look at that. The Chronosphere onto 2. Azura's got a double damage for him to work with as well. They line up for the Echo Slam, but there's just no damage follow-up. JG doesn't have the levels to combat this. Now, meanwhile, mid lane, though, they have left Wummy on an island. So, Xerxia, they're going to be able to address the Broodmother finally. Tiki even wants to drop the ultimate for the extra damage, but they won't even kill him. Just TP out, and Wummy will make it out to safety.
Looks like Ken is in a little bit of trouble as well. Didn't get connected onto by the Swarm, but he going down here. Still haven't used the Time Walk. And oh, there we go. Sorry, Time Lapse. Getting out there from DB. Able to escape. They're just running over them. They've won the lanes. They set themselves up really well. Might have been not so great to be able to lose your tier 1 tower top, but ever since then, it's been all Army Geniuses. It's just going to look to continue. Like I was saying before, getting into some of those bigger timings. Actually go on the 4-staff instead on Naaman rather than finishing up the Vlads. I like it. Maybe they just saw the Gleipnir being finished up and realizing that as long as we're not locked completely into position, we're fine.
They see JG farming with this freshly placed Observer Ward. Reese will start. Nice slide dodge from Azura. And now he's got a BKB to dive under the tower. No cares in the world, as there will be no answer to the Ember. Azura playing an exceptional game, and this is what we've come to expect from him, though. His Ember Spirit, one of the best around in Southeast Asia.
Honestly, all of his spirits, right? We've seen times where he, on a Storm Spirit, was actually beating Quaps in lane, which is pretty much unheard of. So it's great to see someone like this get the kudos that he deserves. I mean, I know it's kind of selling him a bit short, but if Army Geniuses are able to win this, even if they get knocked out at the next stage, top 6 is a very admirable result, considering how the year's been going for them, and the fact that this wasn't even their first choice roster to be able to go into these qualifiers. Specialist Array is going to be a nice little ramp up in damage, though. Xerxia giving it over to Ken. All of that extra pure damage, a little bit of extra stats as well, and just the damage output from those multiple extra hits.
Yeah, what can Xerxia do with this Nature's Prophet? Because, again, Ken, he had an incredible lane, beating the Broodmother, but now he's fallen a little bit behind in net worth. Still is around there at the top, but what can Xerxia do with this farm Nature's Prophet?
It's a really good question, right? Because he is the one that's going to be able to deal with this Broodmother that's just taking all of your towers, but you need to be... You're the only one that can effectively be playing on the enemy's side of the map and pushing out these lanes so that they can't just deathfall down lanes like they're doing with this Aegis. Like, they're just trying to get a bunch of super easy kills, and I think Teehee, he's going into the BKB. Yeah, like, I really don't like the fact that he's still holding onto all of this money and not going for a value item that's useful
down bottom
because...
DB just gets a solo kill, man. Like, they dive under the tier 4 tower, killing off the Viper, and the DB solo kills the Invoker down bottom. Like, it's just crumbling here for Xerxia.
Azura just dies on purpose. Wanted to make sure that the Aegis popped off when he wasn't in a super vulnerable position. Only had about 45 seconds left on it. But yeah, like, I understand, you know, being a little bit down now to make sure that you're successful later, but there's not going to be a later if you don't have someone that's able to respond to this. Like I was saying before, Nature's Prophet wants to be on the other side of the map. Earthshaker does have the Blink Dagger, so with this smoke, a couple of seconds left on it, but they've got what they wanted. They're happy enough to back up. And that's the call from Naaman. Get back, he says, as Invoker's about to respawn, as they haven't seen the Shaker in quite some time. And they've already gotten that tier 3 tower, so they can feel pretty satisfied with themselves.
This is all going to come down to just a combo out from Lucifer in the fights. Maybe with the meatball damage as well from the Invoker. He's only got 4 points in the Exort at the moment, so...
If that courier dies,
he's in trouble. They're just going to drop the Chrono. Naaman. They don't have a care in the world because Variz is to the north. They can drop the call down and Wami's playing the distance. Once they bring the Nature's Prophet down low, the Brew can easily step in under the tier 2 tower. And now they're even going to go for Rapido. He ventures outside the base and Azura will make sure next life he'll stick back behind the safety of the high ground.
Dire's bottom tower is under
And they could just take all of their outer towers now on Army Geniuses. Like, you can go mid, of course, if you want to, but if you're going to use a glyph to try and slow down this push now, you've already lost a tier 3 tower. There's no more refreshes coming beyond that. So Wami's just going to continue to place himself down here at bot lane. They're going to path up to top. They're going to be maybe waiting to play around the second Roshan and then end the game off of the back of that. Using Sunstrikes just for a single range creep. That's how desperate they are for any farm. At least you've got the BKB now on JG to be able to perhaps respond to all these slows, the roots, the lockdown coming through from Army Geniuses. But
Ken? Oh, no!
oh, the force!
Holy that would have been a... Oh, what a play that would have been. Oh my...
I wonder if he could have force-staffed his missile instead. You know you could do that.
Yeah, Azura? He's under the Observer. Lucifer with the Echo Slam, the chain control for the Boundless Strike.
All
and
right.
they get the kill. And now with the Weaver silence as well for the moment. But she's pretty tanky. Is not going to be tanky enough. Xerxia sense an opportunity for them to be able to invade back into their jungle. And they get 2 gigantic kills.
Yeah, for sure. Finally getting value out of that Blink Dagger. This is the big weakness for the Earthshaker that I was talking about. He had basically provided nothing up until that stage of the game, and it's still the case where for the next 2 minutes, he's not really going to be providing anything again. You know, these respawn timers, 24, 25 minutes into the game, they're still short enough that you could just group back up again and go. Like, what did you really expend for that? Not much. Call down for a kill at the bot side. That's about it.
Uh-oh, Ken. He's farming
it.
under the Observer Ward. Wami's instantly moving down. They're going to TP to the outpost as well, but Ken, wisely enough, will be able to evade this gank. But again, now, as soon as they know the Nature's Prophet's TP'd back away, Army Genius is going to look to reclaim the map control and kind of funnel Xerxia into only one location on the map.
Ooh, they got the Spinner's Snare as well on Wami, so gonna look to block off all these different pathways into the triangle. So where can you farm now? There's basically nowhere safe to be, and most of the time when you're on this really aggressive path, you're gonna be putting aggressive wards down, right? Because that's where you're sorry, I'm just looking at JG playing up on the top side, see if he's gonna fall down to DB again. Probably not. That's because that's where you're wanting to be playing, right? You want to be catching out people who farm in quote-unquote safe areas, but against a Nature's Prophet, it makes sense to be warding up your own triangle, your own jungle, because that is the only safe place that remains now.
Top lane. Xerxia, they're going to be cautious. It has to be a quick kill and they've got to get out. Because Army Genius says they're wrapping on top. They should be able to blow up the Weaver with a Sunstrike,
Nice
but it
force.
gets the time lapse off, and now DB's okay, because the rest of Army Geniuses, they've shown up. Naaman lands the Chronosphere onto 2. It does clip onto Azura, but as soon as it expires, they'll be able to chase down the Invoker into the tree line, and the rest of Army Geniuses will clean up the remaining components into this top lane. As what a great read for the lads on Radiant. Just dangling the Weaver's life inside the lane. They connected fast enough, the force staff to allow him to get the time lapse off, and then we're there to take the fight.
He's just had a bit more tanky items in his inventory as well there. Obviously finishing up the Hurricane Pike gives him that little bit of extra HP from that. I think he switched up his neutral items as well, previously holding onto the Dagger of Restule. Now he had the Ring of Aquila for all that extra armor, that tiny bit of extra HP. That was the difference. Like, he barely got out of that one alive, and it's all on the back of these micro decisions. They go for him again. No, completely scouted out by Nama.
They're
Therese
stuck
is just
here.
going in.
Look at a double boundless. We'll give them some distance to be able to retreat. Fissure as well. Covering, but it's not enough. Rapido chase down. Meanwhile, DB gets a kill onto Tihi. Both supports killed off. It's up to the cause now to defend the base.
This glowing mass of spiders just coming out with the pipe aura on. Not quite there anymore, but I mean, this is... What do you look to use the glyph onto? It might need to be this wave. They have complete understanding of exactly where Ken is. Doesn't have anywhere near enough to be able to get into that AC, but at least he's got the Hyperstone. A little bit of extra damage perhaps for the next team fight. But again, is there going to be another team fight?
He's
in the
I don't know
snare.
if you can
They
run
see
like
him.
this. Oh, boy. I understand. He's trying to do whatever he can to stall it out. Invoker, one of the better high ground defenders, but... And they have, again, the capability for Army Geniuses just to play range. Makes it very difficult. If Invoker just oversteps the mark for 1 second, they will instantly stun him and force a BKB like we just saw.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So yeah, glyph used, BKB used, map control, it's yours. You know that the Nature's Prophet isn't scaling, Roshan's up, everything just... They've got the read on Army Geniuses of exactly how they want to play this game.
And they also know exactly where Xerxia are as well. The Earthshaker ran inside the spinner snare. Got the ping on side the map.
Could look to pop the smoke as well with the reverse time walk if he wants.
And they're onto Varese. They should have stopped. The gyrocopter will be brought down. Azura's going to be able to remnant over the fissure block. Trying to target down JG for the moment. The Invoker without the BKB. So Azura recognize this is free pickings for him to be able to secure the kill. Now inside the river. Azura's not done. A remnant onto 2. Both supports are gone. And off to the left side, Ken is trying to get a kill on Narman. It's just a support face as Zoid. And they won't even kill off Narman. And they call it.
That's a GG. Yeah, it's well worth the GG call as well. They just got completely outplayed on Xerxia this game. And yeah, pre-30 minutes. Not too often that we see a few of those games come through, but they crushed the lanes. I don't know how better else to say it. You know, mid lane went far better than it probably had any right to, and really shows the importance of securing those power runes, because the start of the game wasn't going too bad for JG. You know, he was trading even-ish with the Ember Spirit, but as soon as he got that Arcane rune, kill mid, into a kill bottom, suddenly he's got the net worth advantage, and it's certainly a little bit deflating as we can see the Xerxia boys, even though they were all smiles and laughter before, not so much anymore after that game 1.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the early game rotations as well from the Ember Spirit was a big reason why Azure was able to have such a good time. You see his KDA 12, 2, and 13, and Army Geniuses in particular did a very, very good job of being able to secure a lot of those power runes for him. We saw those rotations coming out, TPing down bottom multiple times.